Welcome to Boys and Brunch. This is the show where we expose everything going down on the timeline, and we've got some pretty interesting topics today, I must say. Nicki Minaj just kind of got us all going crazy. Everybody all over the world is talking about Nicki Minaj and these and these alleged swollen testicles. So we will get into that. Not her swollen testicles, her cousin's friends. It's convoluted, so we'll get into it. We also are going to talk about fast food dates, and we're going to talk about movie reboots as well, and whether or not like we're tired of them. I don't know. We'll see. Today we are rejoined by Brandon Harris Williams. What's
Hello,
going on,
hello.
man?
Hey, I have just been super busy with the work. I've been missing you guys, missing the show. I'm just happy to be back.
Awesome, awesome. Um, we are also joined by Khalid Rivera and Mama Shay. Let me get quick intros from everyone. I mean, I guess Brandon, real quick, what are you drinking today? What have you brought with us?
Lord, so I'm drinking water today.
Me too.
I don't have any alcohol in this house. I'm sorry.
Hmm. It's all good. It's all good because I think we're all on the same page today. I think we're all being sober today, which is very interesting.
Oh.
Oh wow.
Khalid, what's new with you? And let us know what you're drinking. Or you said you're drinking
Yeah,
water.
drinking water. Well, a lot of, organizing, packing, cleaning, preparing for the move. So just that's just been the main thing I've been doing the last few days. So I pretty much have almost everything done. Just have to do some cleaning and then just double check any final little pieces and things. And yeah, that's been
Okay.
the main thing.
Okay. Very cool. Very cool. Mama Shay, what is up with you and what are you drinking today?
Um, this week, as usual, I think at least for the past few weeks, has been just totally work. I worked well over 60 hours this week, and at least 17 of them were on Friday. So
Wow. Overtime. Hello.
I'm
No
salary.
need.
That's not a word in my life, unfortunately.
Oh, that's crazy.
And then I still have about 10 hours of work to do today. So I am on my Dr. Pepper and nothing
Okay.
flow.
Lord have
So the
mercy.
drink will come after work, maybe.
Yeah, after work is going to be a whole thing because I have like three very like high paying basically clients that I have to build out today. So
Gotcha.
So you
Okay.
can work
Okay.
remotely at times as well?
yeah, I have my work computer. It doesn't basically leave my side, whether I'm at work or here.
Mm-hmm.
Um, as I know I announced a while ago about my raise. And so with that, with much responsibility or with much power comes much responsibility. So
Mm-hmm.
here we are.
Child.
So we know that you always pull a card for the show for us now. So what is the card? What did you pull for us today?
So I pulled the card and it says come to life.
Okay.
And so this is the thing. And so the big thing here is that although we have like a main character, obviously, like she's painting herself, it's kind of hard to see, but it like has a
No, we
color
see
that
it.
comes in.
Hmm.
And but she has helpers, little monkey dude, there's a bird over here. Um,
Hmm.
and there's just, while we always struggle to, make ourselves heard and make ourselves known and everything like that, we still have to look at the surrounding things. And just looking at that picture, if there were no words with it, we could be seeing like the bird, oh, it's about to snatch something, or oh, the monkey is like going to steal her little pot of paint or what have you. So it's all about interpretation and what you want to bring to life. Are you bringing the negativity to life in it? Are you bringing something that can help? And those things it's always left up to your interpretation.
Okay. All
So,
right.
whether people are there to help or not, are you can see them as a threat regardless of the actual intent.
Interesting. Interesting. Okay. Well, as far as my little update, I mean, I am just preparing for this new podcast that I'm doing, and I bought cameras, I bought lighting, and looked at the location that I'm going to be doing this podcast. So I'm very excited. I'll have more. I guess I'll talk more about that later on in the show. This is our. I had just decided actually that this is going to be our last live episode, but I do think that maybe we can do like a pre-recorded something for next week as our like final Boys and Brunch thing. So stay tuned to that, and then I will let you know where to follow, the new podcast and stuff. And sparkling water for me today. So I was out last night, so that's like I'm just trying to be I'm trying not to go crazy.
So that means you gotta drink more. That means
no, that is not what I'm supposed to be doing. Drink more. No. Okay, so let's jump into this first topic. We're gonna talk about Nicki Minaj's tweets about this vaccine. So I'm gonna share her tweets to the screen so we can just see what's going on here. So the one tweet that got everybody talking was, let me see if I can zoom in here. Here we go. She says, my cousin in Trinidad won't get the vaccine because his friend got it and became impotent. His testicles became swollen. His friend was weeks away from getting married. Now the girl called off the wedding. So just pray on it and make sure you're comfortable with your decision, not bullied. So that was her first of many tweets about this. I'm trying to, I think, this was the one that everybody focused on. And I guess maybe we can just start on this one specifically. What were your reactions to kind of seeing this come out from her, and I guess all of the craziness that had followed? Why don't we start with Brandon?
Not me first.
I mean, look, you're back. It's time to just put you in there.
Right, you gotta put me on the thing. Oh goodness. So I think initially reading the tweet, just her tweet alone, I was like, okay, I'm rolling my eyes. I don't really care. Whatever, I don't believe this. Life goes on, whatever, cool. But I think seeing everybody, like, it kind of take over and it take a life literally of its own that's been going on like all week has been definitely something. I know initially I wasn't thinking about how large her platform or her reach is. I wasn't thinking or even knew really maybe what the possible effects of this could be. But I appreciate most people seeing it for what it is, which is false, essentially. Saying though that it is probably harmful to be tweeting these types of things, or it's misinformation, or that she should be more responsible, how it is, I guess, a distraction from her husband's issues, just on and on and on. I do think most people have been, I guess, wise enough to know to see through whatever this was supposed to be.
Got you. Yeah. Mama Shay, what like, okay, so I feel like maybe I should share the other tweet that kind of got us talking in our DMs. That kind of, I guess, started us kind of talking a little bit. So let me pull that up as well before we get into more discussion. Let me see if I can pull this up real quick.
While you're looking for it, I do want to point out too, it's all interesting because literally I think all of this started because they asked if she was going to the Met Gala or why she wasn't there. And it's like, they just said no.
Right. I tell you, it's just like these celebrities don't know when to just not speak. But this was like a follow-up tweet or something. One in that string of tweets that she had that day. She said, they want you to get vaccinated for the Met. If I get vaccinated, it won't be for the Met. It'll be once I feel I've done enough research. I'm working on that now. In the meantime, my loves, be safe. Wear the mask with 2 strings that grip your head and face, not that loose one. Mama Shay, what are your thoughts on this so far?
So my immediate reaction, that's usually with any tweet that comes out like this or similar to this, is just, I'm furious, to be quite honest. As someone with chronic illness, as someone who is allergic to the vaccine, I literally have to depend on everybody else to do the right thing. to keep me safe. So her using a large platform, knowing that people will harp on this, especially, let's just say it, to be honest, you threaten a man's dick and then everything goes out the window. So all of this going on, and then for her to use something so inflammatory means less people that I can count on to keep me safe, that I can count on to keep children who can't get the vaccine safe. It was extremely irresponsible. And to see a bunch of people just kind of either laughing it off or like making a larger joke about it, it's like, that's why we're in the pandemic now, is because nobody took things seriously, or very few took things seriously. And I know a lot of people are vaccinated, but not nearly enough. And the ones who are abstaining, most of them are not abstaining because of a medical condition, because they're too young, or something where they physically can't get it. Most of the people that are abstaining are they just don't care about their neighbor. And I'm just like, this is why we're here.
Before I pull you in, Khalid, Focus is saying bottom line is that I think she would have left out the cousin part and just state why she can't go to the Met Gala. She would be fine. So if she left out the whole story and just said, I can't go to the Met Gala because I'm not vaccinated, and just left it at that.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
Because that's your situation. You don't have to explain, like, you're not vaccinated. Like, we don't know whether you're in a situation like Mama Shay, where you absolutely just cannot have it. You can't get it for a medical reason, or whether you're, into the side where you're still doing your own research. Khalid, what did you get from all this? I think you're muted. We're not hearing you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because I was trying to because the New York City noise. So yeah, it was a lot going on. Sorry about that. I was thinking about what Mama Shay said, and then what we were discussing in the messages is that people have to understand that there are those that have their exemptions, and they went through the whole process to get their exemptions, and it's granted. And you have to be considerate of those people. And when you're around them, take the extra, necessary precautions, and just be respectful to their needs. And if they tell you, please, can you put a mask on? Or please, listen, I'm not vaccinated because of this. Can you do this and this around me? You have to be respectful to that, and you have to believe them. And please don't discriminate against them, because I don't want a situation where someone like, Mama Shay that, can take it and has gone through the whole exemption process, and then people are going to laugh about that, judge that, and not believe that. So first and foremost, we have to be considerate for those people. It's extremely important, The whole Nicki Minaj thing, as I've said in previous episodes, you know how I feel about a lot of these celebrities. It's like gimmicks after gimmicks after gimmicks. And, trying to get as much attention as possible and to be trending, and this whole world that we live in. Hey, if you're trending, it's a good thing. There's no such thing as bad press. I think it's total garbage. And I just think the timing of it all, gee, what a great way to pull focus from the Met Gala. I want to say a great way, but what an interesting way to pull focus from the Met Gala to then talk about this so you can be trending. And then I wonder if the whole setup of someone asking her that question, if that was an actual, setup. I just questioned the sincerity of it all, and like her bringing it up, the whole thing. And then here's the thing, she cannot be upset that people are bashing her about this whole, cousin's friend thing, because it's not even a he said, she said. It's literally, she said, and that's it. You come up with this story, and then you have no proof or nothing to show for it. So right now, it's considered a lie, because we don't know who this person is. There's no proof, no nothing whatsoever. Another thing too, I understand that people, they are influenced by celebrities, but we need to stop that. I hope this situation would be a great time to start conversations to stop being so easily influenced by celebrities. Stop putting them on this pedestal. They are not gods. They are not idols. They are just regular human beings. And you know what? They're entertainers, and that's it. You look for them to just be entertained. We cannot be demanding them that they have to say this, they have to do this. Unfortunately, we cannot control what they're going to do. We can't control what anyone around us is going to do. We need to just stop being influenced by them. Make the best decisions for yourself. You have to follow your gut. You're grown-ass adults, okay? Sorry for cursing, but I find people that are so easily influenced just because a celebrity says something. I think they're weak, and we need to completely stop that. Also, I know we can't control, like I said, what celebrities going to do, what people around us are going to do. The minute we leave our house, of course, we put ourselves at risk. But here's my whole thing. It's like, here's the solution. You want medical, you're seeking medical advice, go to your medical provider, go to your primary doctor. You need spiritual guidance, religious advice, you go to spiritual advisor, you go to your church, right? Especially when it comes to politics, then pay attention to what's going on in your local community, follow your local politicians, get involved in your community board. Don't wait to be like, let me see what this celebrity said. Oh, she said this, I'm going to do that. Oh, they said to follow this. Okay, just because she said it, I'm going to do it. How high? We have to stop that. At the end of the day, listen, you got to rely on this, and rely on this. And
I hear you. And the thing
make
is,
the best decisions for you.
Yeah, the thing is that, I think that we kind of got into a bit of a back and forth between us because we were talking about her using her platform and then just kind of spreading misinformation. And then I feel like, and I don't, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like you were kind of saying like her what she was saying didn't really have an effect, or something.
What I was saying, that it doesn't have an effect on me personally because at the end of the day, I make the decisions for myself. I don't wait to see what a celebrity is going to say, and I'm not that easily influenced and distracted. Remember, lead us not into temptation,
Right.
So I don't care what a celebrity says because I know what I'm doing. I control my life. Unfortunately, there are people out there that are extremely weak, and they're gonna be like, "Oh, she said this. Okay, I'm gonna do that." Stop that. I can't stand people like that. Unfortunately, we can't control that. But when it comes to situations like this, if you feel so strongly about the vaccine and the health, well, then get involved with your local Department of Health and just focus on what you can control with your life, and then just your immediate circle. I mean, that's really the best that we can do. But we gotta stop being so easily influenced by these celebrities. They are not gods. They are not idols. Stop that. Idolaters.
But
No,
I
we
will
gotta stop
also
that.
say that I feel like celebrities need to be a lot more cautious with what they put out there, because they do have a lot of people who look up to them, who will listen to them. I mean, there's a reason why, there are celebrity endorsements for political candidates, or, because they have that pull. So to say, and I'm not saying that this is what you're saying, but I'm saying like, to say that, people aren't influenced by celebrities, or to say that, it doesn't really matter. That doesn't really work, because what they say actually does matter. And unfortunately, in this case, it was the wrong thing. Like, do you think that there is more personal research to be done by anyone, and this is up to anyone? Is there any more personal research to be done, or
no? My issue with her second tweet, or the second tweet that you showed, is that it sounds very much so like May of 2020 kind of tweeting. It's like, since we're a year and a half later, we're past this. Like, the vaccine has been out for a while. We've gone through all of the you should get it, you shouldn't get it, who made it, who didn't make it, what's wrong, the percentages. We have 3 different vaccines now that FDA approved. We're on the booster shot, and you're still researching the first thing. I just don't. Just say you don't want to get it and leave us alone, and then stay at home though. That is my issue, is the people who are not getting vaccinated are also not wearing masks, are also not staying home. And that is part of what's making this pandemic go on and on and on, because people are not being responsible on any front. If you could do 2 of those 3 things, not even just one, at least 2, then maybe we could be a little bit better. But people don't want to stay home or stay masked up.
Right.
So yeah.
Right. I mean, you know, and I think, you know, Nicki Minaj herself is in a position where she can kind of be in her own little bubble. So maybe it's not as
I'm not gonna give it to you just of how long the pandemic has been going on. I can give this to you May of 2020. I can't.
Well, no. I'm just saying the fact that if she chooses to not be vaccinated, she can on some level safely be isolated from people who would otherwise be affected. I don't believe, you know, when anybody says I still need to do my own research, I'm just like, the research has been done. The research has been done. The people have been tested, and that's how we got to this point.
So it's not new research.
Like, I don't.
I think a lot of people miss that. It's not new research. Just because you're just now hearing about it does not mean it has not been ongoing. If you check your Lysol bottles, I'm sure everyone has had them for a while, but even the old ones, they literally protect against human coronavirus. It's printed on the bottle. This is not a new disease. This is not new research. It just happened to actually be useful for the masses at this time. And that's why we're just now hearing about it. So I think that is a huge thing kind of going on there. And had she just said, I don't want to get vaccinated, I'm doing my own research, okay, cool. Whatever. I don't think her degree was in biology or antiviral anything. And, you know, there are obviously big brains who have been on this for several years in their own research institutes and such. So I'm not sure what other individual personal research she is doing. While I am not in med school, I do read a lot of medical cases and things, just dealing with a variety of issues. Some of those are way too in the weeds for me. And I've been doing that for the past 10, 15 years. So I am not, again, not in the research lane, not in medical, but read, you know, as much as I can to be informed about things. And those things aren't printed in layman's terms. You know, we're talking about research studies with tables and getting into different receptors, and biology is huge. You know, so I'm not sure what her own personal research, unless it's going to her own personal doctor and just having that discussion. But again, like Brandon said, this has been since, you know, early 2020. So why haven't you just had that conversation already? What additional is there?
Right. Maciel Pimentel, I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. She's asking, why did she say the wrong thing? She was just stating her opinion.
Swollen balls is not an opinion.
Say that again?
Swollen balls is not an opinion. It's just not. It's just not.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the thing is like you're rehashing a false claim about the effects of
no proof.
The vaccine.
No, you have no proof.
Yeah, no, there's no proof of that.
And it took up government resources. Like Trinidad had to go and use government resources to take the fear mongering back out of the people who saw her tweet that, who were maybe on the fence or saying like, I'll wait to see, you know, are y'all going to turn green? Y'all going to get superpowers? What's going to happen once you take it? And here she comes with this narrative. And it's like, not only is it inaccurate, but it creates even more fear. And it you know, gives fuel to people who were on the fence about getting it for not getting it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why it makes such a huge impact, because those people who don't get vaccinated because of this tweet, because they're like, oh, the government is lying to us, or whatever else they come up with regarding this, they're putting other people who can't get it at risk. Children, elderly people, chronically ill people who can't get it, all of that. So like none of that is okay. And that's that abuse of power. Whether she should have it or not is a whole different subject, but she has it and she used it wrong.
Yeah, I mean, if she feels she wants to do the research, I mean, that's everyone's personal choice to do whatever research they want to do, whether you go to your doctor or, you know, there's so many, like Mama Shay was saying before, there's so many, you know, things to read up on. I mean, and if you want to look at the official government documents, you know, look at the FDA briefing documents of each one. Look at the fact sheets that they give to the recipients and that they give to the medical providers. Read all that, and then, you know, that's the best decision. Because I think a lot of the times when people they're hesitant to making decisions, it's like, okay, I'm hearing all this, but at the end of the day, it's just like, when you want to make a decision for yourself, read everything. A lot of people, they don't like to read. They don't want to read. So, and, you know what? Read everything. So for her, it's just like, just read up on it. Read up on the briefing documents. And then from there, you can decide to make the decisions. Everyone, they have their own way of doing whatever research that they need to do. That's just their personal way, how they process things.
But why has she not read it yet? I just... That's what I keep coming back to. Like, why hasn't she done this research? Because she ain't researching nothing.
Because she hasn't done it. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, that I will say, I'm surprised that she hasn't done the research.
I mean, like, quite frankly,
it's
I mean, let's just call it BS. It's BS. I mean, like, nobody's doing their own research. If you're not a medical professional, if you're not developing the vaccine, you're not doing your own research.
Let me see your lab setup, Nikki. What you got over there in the Bunsen burner?
That's the only. It's just like, you know, whenever anybody says that, it's like, okay, so you're gonna go look on Facebook, or you're gonna go Google something. Like, you're not.
That's what I was saying. For research for people, they can just look at the official government public documents that are out there. That's what I was saying, like the briefing documents.
Exactly.
So you know, if people clarify, what this is the research I'm going to do, I'm going to look at these official government documents, the official FDA, the CDC briefing documents of each things, you know, because we can't rely on just, unfortunately, you know, word of mouth or whatever is on social media, because it gets a bit overwhelming. It really does. And how I do things in my life, when I have questions about everything, I really do love to take my time and research and download things and read things. You can find a lot of things in official public government, documents. That's me, but I know a lot of people do not do that.
Yeah, I don't think that there's anything wrong with doing research, but I think at this point, it's like the research is out there. It has been put in your face.
Or at least hasn't done the research or read it. Yeah.
Huh?
I said for at least 6, 7, 8, 9 months.
Like everybody knows what the deal is. We have trusted sources that have been telling us this. What other research do you have to do? So that's just me. But I will say, to kind of wind this down a little bit, if you are one of those people who needs to do your own research, I have linked the CDC, the World Health Organization, and I've said you should just talk to your doctor. They are linked in the show notes below. So do your own research now. You have no more excuses. I do not want to hear, I need to do my own research anymore. All of the research is done. It is there. Let me see what...
I'm going to add to that.
Yeah.
You're going to go get vaccinated, get vaccinated. If you're not, stay at the house. Please and thank you.
Yeah. Like, period. Let me just get Charles's comment in here real quick. Charles Warren saying, I think Nicki's tweet was just another chance for her to put her above her fellow celebs. She was trying to call everyone at the Met Gala sheep, unlike her. Typical Nicki Minaj mean girl brand. Basically
also
saying the tweet was Met Gala sheep. What'd you say?
I said also on brand was her lie talking about she was invited to the White House, so let me get my pink outfit together. Girl, they said call our doctor. They did not say.
Yeah, there was a lot of different outlets. It's like that they said she was invited, and then said she was a call. Like, it was a lot of back and forth. I mean, I don't care what she done. Next topic. like I don't know. I just like celebrities. I see it at face value. Okay, you know, like, I don't know. But that's just me. But I know people, they follow celebrities like crazy. Their whole lives is around what a celebrity is doing, you know?
Right. Okay, so we're going to move into our next topic. We're going to talk about this idea of like a fast food date. Let me bring up this tweet. This is crazy.
Not everybody roll their eyes.
Because it got so much traction.
What are we talking about? What, this tweet?
Yes, the tweet.
So we started off with this tweet in the middle here saying a date like this with like the greater than sign next to it. And these people are in a car, they've got their Chick-fil-A, it's all sitting there. And this is apparently a great date for someone. And then somebody responds, "This is not a date. This is just grabbing food. Let's not create new versions of the bare minimum."
Oh my God.
So much
Khalid, why
assumption.
don't we start with you? What do you think about this idea? Like, is this a date? I mean, like,
It's a hangout. That's not a date. And if you really think that's a date, you need to have more standards and you need to value yourself a lot more. You're worth more.
Okay.
I'm just stuck on the Chick-fil-A, to be quite honest.
That's a hangout. Okay, we're buddies. That's something that's like, if y'all been in a relationship for a while, hey, let's get some Chick-fil-A. Let's pull over. Let's eat whatever. But that's a date. Okay.
But I wonder though, like, is there a difference in dating when you've already become exclusive, like you're in the relationship, versus dating to get to know? Like, I feel like is there not some
there's dating to get to
stability in the
know.
standards?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe if you're already together, that can be a date if you still have that meaningful conversation or whatever, but not if you're still in the getting to know phase.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Not in the getting to know phase.
So I guess I'm on the outside box here. I definitely, number one, we are looking at a picture. We don't know conversation. We don't know context other than that person enjoyed what they had. We don't even know what it is they had other than there were some nuggets and looked like a deluxe sandwich and some fries. Like, that's all we know is what is literally pictured there. So we don't know if they decided to have a picnic and it got rained out. They were like, we'll just grab this. This is your favorite food, Shay, so I'm going to treat you for this. They go to have a picnic, it gets rained out. They don't know if somebody ran past Chick-fil-A on the way to the drive-in. Now you got a movie, you got dinner, and you have good company. We don't know if the kids finally fell asleep at a decent hour and Big Sis was there just long enough for us to have a little mini date on our own because we've been married and got 3 kids under 5. There's so many things that we don't know to categorize that as a date or not a date. It could be one of those lookout, they have the lookout points and you're looking at the lights of the city and stuff. I'm sorry, especially in LA, I'm not getting out the car so a cougar or a mountain lion can come and bite me. We're going to stay in and have that good conversation. So just, for the picture for what it is, it can be a date. And like you guys were saying with the getting to know you thing, if you tell me you're taking me on a date, and I have on heels, my good jeans, and a nice blouse, and I put them on to get wrinkled in your car and spill nugget flakes on me, then we are going to have an issue because that's not a date in that circumstance.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's kind of what I was saying. I think maybe in the getting to know it's a little bit different or a bit more expectations or whatever, it's a bit fancier, but I think you have, again, that flexibility we can spice it up a bit more when we're already together. Like, every day to be put on your best. We're going to spend, $200 dates, all that type of stuff. If we just let's go get something to eat and let's talk, and maybe we'll get us a little drinky drink on the way home. Smoke if that's your choosing in the car because that's where they were. We just enjoy each other.
Especially if it's pandemic dating. There is no inside to sit. There's, depending
on where you live.
Yeah, depending where, yeah. But no, you guys bring up good points. Absolutely.
Yeah. My thing is, it's like, I feel like the intention has to be set, right? Like, because I remember, and I don't know if I had recounted this story before. I probably have. But, I was out with this guy that I was seeing. And we were just like out running errands and stuff. We weren't doing anything. And then all of a sudden, because I think like a few days before I had said, I would like to go out on like more dates or something like that. And so while we were out running errands, we stopped at like this what is it? Like a Chinese buffet, little rinky-dink place on the side of the road. And then he wanted to tell me this was a date. He said, "This is a date, right?" And I was like, no. This is not a date. Like, don't just like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, because
we're
it's
in the
just
middle
out of
of like rushing
nowhere.
around and we stop to get some food. No, this is not a date. You know what I'm saying? No. So I feel like it
Categorize it
really
as
just
an
depends.
errand date. Would that work for you? Like,
Hmm?
had he categorized it as like an errand
No,
date? Okay.
absolutely
I think
not.
that was his, but I'm gonna defend him a little bit. I think that was his intention, and he heard you. He just didn't.
No.
I
I'm
don't think he
telling,
knew
no,
how
I'm
to
just,
give you what you wanted. I'm saying, I'll say that.
I hear what you're saying, but I know, I mean, like, just knowing this guy, like, that was not, he was just really just trying to squeeze in an extra point on the side,
Mm-hmm.
you know, try to get,
In a
you
lazy
know,
way, yeah.
it was just very lazy. It was very lazy. It
Mm-hmm.
was just
And
kind of, it
that's
was
what
an afterthought.
matters. Your context there matters.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You know, because had other circumstances could have made that a date in a different whole setting.
Yeah.
But for what it was in that immediate time, that was not a date for you.
No.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
But I will say that there was a guy that I had dated a little bit, and I think he like, I don't know, he took me to Sonic, and you know they have like the little you sit there and they bring the food to the car, and it was a cool like vibe. It was a cool little evening. It wasn't like a fancy date, and it was more like, you know, let's go grab something. It was kind of like in between what I would consider. It was closer to a date than not, is what I'm gonna say.
See, there's no Sonic in New York City, so I've never had that experience. But I mean, it sounds like a cute like high school kind of day, or like I don't know. It just brings it back to like what the '60s, how would, you know, at that time how that was, you know, the camel thing, you know, roller skates, and
I feel like, you know, if you do something that's I don't know, just special, just make it special. I think, you know, it can't just be I gotta go pick up, you know, I gotta go pick up some mail. So let's go grab some McDonald's on the way.
Right. Unless you know that that's their favorite thing. Like, I'm going to this place and I know your fave is right next to it, because then that shows intimate knowledge of who you're with, and that puts a whole different shadow on interactions. If I'm picking up and being like, oh, I know you like that one little thing, whether, you know, maybe it's sunflowers, and you're like, I got to pick up the mail, but come run with me because I know you're going to love this field of sunflowers next to it. Then that puts a whole different shadow. Like, context can be a thing.
Yeah,
but,
yeah, absolutely.
And we just don't know it, like, as far as that tweet and being on that topic. We just don't know the surroundings of it. You know, and you can say it was not a date for me without invalidating everyone else's responses.
Bless your heart, Mama Shay. Bless your heart.
Masil is saying, how about getting a hotel room and eating in? Is that a date? I would say, yeah. I mean, you know, it's a little staycation kind of thing. I mean, if you're, you know, if you're staying in the city, or if you're staying in your local town or whatever, I think, yeah, that could be a date. You stay in, you get, you know, room service or whatever, or you just bring some food into the hotel room and you're just, you know, it's something different. It can be romantic. And, you know, the food doesn't have to be a steak dinner. But what'd you say?
It can also be that hookup, especially if you like add smoke or drink in there. You need some food and get to visit, like, you know, so it can be just flipping the context thing. You know, while that can absolutely be a whole romantic thing, it could be a hookup too. Just like, well, this is what it is.
The man right here, like, let's go.
Right. So I think what people get hung up on when we see this is like, when you think of like a date night, you know, this is not typically what you think of when if you want somebody to ask you out on a date, do you want to sit in their car and eat Chick-fil-A?
Me personally, as I'm getting to know somebody, no. If I'm in a relationship, that's fine. Yeah.
I got you. I'm just curious, like, Brandon, you know, this guy, you know, you just met him, you got his number yesterday.
No, I'm with Mama Shay.
I'm gonna take you out on a date, and he drives you to the drive-thru at Chick-fil-A.
I think you need him a snack on the way to the date or something. Like, I'm not thinking, I'm like Mama Shay, like, you tell me we're going on a date and I put on some nice clothes, so here we go, and then what is this?
I'm also going to ask what you're wearing. If I'm wearing, I don't hear specifics. I'm going to be like, okay, are we going to your friends, cousins, brothers, sisters party? Or are we going to a nice restaurant? Or are we going to be walking? Because even though we might be walking throughout a museum, I need different shoes than going to the restaurant and sitting and looking cute. So, I'm definitely one to be like, you don't have to tell me exactly what we're doing, but what attire?
Yes. I don't want to be overdressed, underdressed, like you said, uncomfortable. Like, even men's shoes are not all comfortable to be walking all day long in. Like, so
yeah.
What
you don't want your Stacey Adams, you want your Jordans. Like, hold up, let me.
All right. So yeah. I had another question in this. I'm trying to think. Has anybody else been on a phoned in date? That kind of like what I experienced.
Someone tried to rope me in like that because it was a hangout, literally just like a hangout session. We both had to go to Target. Like, we kind of went down like, what are you doing today? And it happened that we were doing like all the same things or multiple same things. So we're like, okay, let's hang out. And then they're like, oh, we should make this a lunch date. And I was like, it can be dinner and I'll go home and change. But you didn't communicate that might be an add-on, and this is not the ambiance I want to be in for date. I'm in errand mode.
Yeah.
What if I want to take a cute picture, but my hair is all wrapped up and I'm in my dingy, the one that I can't get white anymore t-shirt versus my crisp. Like, this is not gonna work.
Oh goodness. All right. So I think we have one last topic. We're going to talk about these movie reboots. Specifically, we've got a new version of The Bodyguard in the works. Who's excited for this?
Not me. We all know Whitney Houston, Kevin Costner, but especially Whitney Houston made the movie. That movie was made around her. Kevin Costner was like, I'm not making this movie if Whitney is not on board. Okay, that was number one. And then number two, I know the executives, they didn't want to make it a whole interracial thing, but Kevin Costner was like, no, this is about Whitney Houston. Everything has to be around her. She made the movie. And there's just certain things. It's like, why remake everything? Sometimes you just leave it as it is. I don't get the whole remaking everything. What's the problem with just leaving it as it is?
Yeah. Mama Shay, what do you think about this like rebooting of The Bodyguard?
I kind of think about it when I think about most reboots. Number one, they're usually unnecessary. They're trying to play on, like, people are going to hate watch remakes. Because how many things have already come out that are being like, I don't want to see this. This is unnecessary. Like, I've seen very little, if any, actual support for it. So that tells me that they're trying to play on the new people who never saw, the younger people who might not have seen it, the original, but also all the people who are going to hate watch it to say why it's not as good as the original. So it's one of those, I feel like it's that any news is good news, or any publicity is good publicity type of thing, because no one asked for this. Absolutely no one asked for this.
What about you, Brandon?
But it's also, to Mama Shay's point. Can y'all hear me a little bit better now? I had to put my things. Okay, sorry. But I also think too, though, that's part of why they keep happening. Yeah, of course, you can't control how many new people come and watch something, but all the people watching, they just care about like views or either ticket sales. So if these things are still moderately, quote unquote, successful, then they're going to continue to make them. I mean, it's why,
unfortunately,
certain things are successful on Netflix, because everybody goes to watch that weekend. Then, okay, well, let's make 3 more. You don't need to do that. We didn't need the first one, but we all, watched it. So this is the same thing. Also, though, like, The Bodyguard really just isn't that good of a movie. The original, just I mean, the soundtrack is what makes The Bodyguard like The
That's what I was
Bodyguard.
gonna ask
Oh, I
because I
love
was
them.
like, she didn't even sing in the movie, right? I mean, I guess
She's half
she
of
was
the
a
singles are all in the movie, I think.
Yeah, she sang throughout. Yeah,
okay.
not as it was a good amount, but
It
they
wasn't like a
wanted to have
musical
it.
though.
No,
No,
It wasn't
it
a
wasn't a
musical.
musical. It wasn't a musical. No, but she sang throughout. But
Yeah, like
they
all the
really
singles I
wanted
think are
it
in
to
the
be the
movie.
acting. Yeah,
Okay,
Yeah, it
gotcha.
was mainly because she was a music star, even in the movie, is the only
right.
reason that it had that amount of music in it.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. You know, I personally was just I kind of am in the same boat as you guys. I'm like, we don't need we don't need a rehashing of The Bodyguard. However, I guess I'm also of the mind that like it could be done in a way that is if they just decide to take like the base story and just completely push it to like, you know, something else, you know, or just get I mean just completely remix it to something else and just not even touch
Yeah.
Whitney's version of The Bodyguard. Kind of like I'm trying to think how they almost like Gossip Girl. If
I
I
like
haven't
the
even
reboot
watched
of
the new
Gossip Girl.
I haven't watched the new thing, but it's like they have a different based on what I've seen, it's kind of it's a whole different thing. It's not
Mhm.
really the same characters. It's really just kind of its own
Yeah.
storyline. And so I think if they do something like that, it could potentially be interesting, but
I need them to then call it the personal protector and let the bodyguard go.
Yeah,
Listen, or if
yeah,
they
change the title. Yeah,
or also too again, it's like you can't touch any of that music. Like there's nobody out currently who's going to be able to let's just not even let's just
mm-mm.
don't even set yourself up for failure. Just give us a whole new soundtrack and then maybe that might work, but just do
Yeah.
not.
Somebody had mentioned, I think you showed me a tweet where they mentioned Brandy and Yaya being the leads.
Foolish, ignorance, yes. They said that's who they want to be. Yeah.
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
Yaya did, but she did the Lifetime movie.
No,
And
Yaya
then
does the
and then
man.
Deborah Cox was the voice of Whitney Houston, who, by the way, Deborah Cox
Mhm.
did the national tour of the Bodyguard musical that they were trying to bring to Broadway, but it wasn't successful, and so it didn't transition to Broadway.
Mhm.
Yeah. So yeah, they got, but yeah, Yaya. I meant Yaya Abdul Mateen II, the guy who's in Candyman, not Yaya
Oh,
the
okay, yeah, I saw the Candyman, and I mean, I liked it, but I still didn't think it was better than the original. And I'm sure because it did well in the box office, I'm sure they're going to do more parts and more parts, you know.
They may, but you know, I don't even think it's that I guess would be considered more of a sequel, but it's still
Yeah, I
kind of
think
it's
so.
kind of a reboot, like you know, undercover, but they're calling it a sequel because it kind of continues.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, but let me see what Focus was saying. It's way too many new content creators out here literally working their asses off and creating good stuff. So yeah, I mean, I think it's important to give new IPs, new movies, new stories
Mhm.
a chance. But you know, I mean, I think that we briefly talked about that last time with the whole Patty Jenkins thing, talking about you know how bad streaming movies are. Um, but you
No,
know,
he just made a
it's
bad
like a
movie.
catch 22 because it's like we want these new stories, we want these new films, but on the other
Mm-hmm.
hand, it's like, but you're now we're kind of trashing them. I'm just curious because I mean I guess Khalid, because I feel like you kind of agreed with Patty Jenkins about calling a lot of the streaming things kind of like these
Garbage.
fake movies or garbage movies or something. But I mean, I guess there's where how do you straddle that line between you know having new movies and calling the streaming platforms that they come on and calling them trash.
Well, the streaming platforms is easier to get distribution. It's easier for it to be picked up. So that, unfortunately, that comes with room that, like, well, things that are not of the best content will be released on those platforms. But then at the same time, there can be some amazing things that come out that get released on those platforms. So it's just kind of like, it just depends. That's the whole entertainment business, behind the scenes things. But FYI, it's much easier to have your film get picked up on a streaming platform than it would either a wide theatrical release or a limited theatrical release. So with that comes more room for just garbage, unfortunately. And it shouldn't be that way, should still have great standards for streaming.
Brandon, I'm curious what you think about like the streaming argument, whether that stuff is trash or whether it's a good place for people to kind of break out with these new stories.
So I am very well aware that not everything on a streamer, wow, full screen, okay, is great, but I also think that's part of the beauty of it, is that these people can make their independent projects and then they can still get the distribution so eyes can see it, because again, everybody's not going to get a theater release or a TV release or whatever. So if the stream will pick it up for however long and then people watch it or don't or whatever, I think that's good, so they have some eyeballs on it. So I think that in that route, that's mainly good for indie people. I think this whole thing of these big movies now being on streamers is primarily because of the pandemic, if I'm not mistaken. Like, I mean, I know that streaming has grown over the years, but obviously these movies are now being released onto streamers because it was not safe to go to theaters. Like, theaters weren't even open. And so it's like, how long do you want your movie to sit on the shelf? Because I know, well, like the Marvel movies were supposed to come out last year, I think. Like Black Widow was pushed back, a whole year or something. Like Candyman was pushed back a year. So it's like these things, so that you don't continue to wait for people to get eyeballs on it to see your stuff. You can do either a simultaneous release or just do the streamer release or whatever else. I mean, okay, yeah, it's not what you wanted ideally, but we don't know when this stuff is ending. So how long do you want people to not see the movie that you make?
Right. Okay. All right.
And she made a bad movie.
What did you say?
Yes, that part.
Patty Jenkins.
Yeah, because the first one was great. The second one,
I know. See, I it's weird. It's weird what happens for me as far as watching movies and stuff, because if enough people complain about a movie on Twitter, I just won't even watch it. I'm just like, okay. I'm like with everybody. Oh, yeah, it is trash, and I haven't seen a second of the movie. But I don't know, like, what was so trash about Wonder Woman 84. Even Focus is saying WW 84 was trash. I was disappointed and a little perturbed that I spent 4 hours and had my hopes and dreams dashed.
Because the best part was the trailer.
Oh, really? The best
part was the trailer.
The issue was that they tried to put the story, first of all, the storyline was strange. It was a bit much. And the problem is with these movies like that is that they try to put so many things into the film, which is like, well, what's going on? This is a lot. Well, this is not making sense. And then to make it so long and then to hash things, like keep extending it, it's like, after a while, it's not interesting. Just to me, the problem was just the storyline this time around. It just wasn't great.
Yeah, the villain wasn't strong enough. They were fighting, and I was like, oh, okay. Like, I think Wonder Woman was so stuck on the man from the previous movie, and he's not even in the movie, if I remember correctly, or whatever. What are we doing? What are we doing?
There was a lot of all over the place.
Yeah. Okay. Got you. So yeah, I won't tune in. Message received.
The end was the best. The end was the very end when the original Wonder Woman came out. Spoiler alert, if you haven't seen it, I don't care. When she came out in the end, that was the best part. I was like, oh my gosh, she's there. And she still looks good.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's interesting because I think about Wonder Woman, and while the original was good, I still don't think it was as good as some of the Marvel movies that we've been seeing lately, I will say. I I don't know. I mean, I think it was a good movie, but it just wasn't. It was very slow in parts. I remember taking my nephew to see it, and he fell asleep in the theater. And I was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry." That's not to say it was a bad movie, but it was just like,
It's
can
not
we
saying
get
it was
something
good.
going? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Right. And the folks is saying he didn't know who the villain was until the end. Maybe he's talking about the second one, but I think for the first one, I was like, who's the big bad in this one? So I don't know. Anyway, not trying to trash on that woman's work, but yeah, I guess that's where we're gonna end things. So we are going to get into splitting the bill in just a moment. I just want to thank you all for joining me, Khalid, Brandon, and Mama Shay. Thank you. Let's raise a toast.
My water.
Raise a glass.
My bottles.
I don't know how to say it.
My bottle.
Yeah, we've all got our water, water and juice. So be careful what you say because the boys and girls will brunch. Take care, everyone.
Bye.